Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the Legends, WWE Legends House. This is Season 1, Episode 2. I'm not sure if this is going to have a Season 2. If they do, if they're going to mix the guys up, or how they're going to explain the 2-year hiatus in this show. But this show debuted April 24th, 2014. Of course, this was yesterday. I am a day behind on my Legends House here. With the WWE Network, most of the things I watch are on the on-demand section. I don't really watch the live stream all that much. Of course, I haven't watched a live pay-per-view because I was at WrestleMania. But, I was a day behind. I heard about this basically because of the Brian and Vinny show did a review of this, and I was upset that I listened to a review before I watched the show, but I didn't have anything else to listen to on my lunch today. Basically, this show was split up into 3 parts, 3 main segments. In the beginning segment, the guys got together. Of course, Ashley, who I'm trying to find out more about. Is she a diva that was in NXT or FCW at the time, and she never saw the light of day in WWE, and she's not going to, and she's gone? Or is she a reality show star, or something that they stole and they brought her over, and just basically because they haven't done any other shows on the network, we haven't seen her anymore. I don't know who Ashley is. I know it's not Ashley Massaro. I know it's not the tranny, as I've always liked to call her. It's not her. There's no way in hell that's her. But basically, she comes over. She's the planning committee. She basically tells the Legends what they're going to be doing that day. And for this day, they're going to play polo. Everyone is guessing that this is going to be polo played on horses. Tony Atlas wants no part of this. Says he doesn't like messing with animals. He doesn't want to get trampled by one. He doesn't want to get killed today out there playing polo. Once they finally get over to the polo field, they find out that they're going to be playing on golf carts, driven around by girls. Basically, they hold a draft. This is Team Hacksaw going up against Team Hillbilly Jim, the red team versus the blue team. First round draft pick. Very surprised. Jimmy Hart was picked by Hillbilly Jim. Out of all the people there, I was very surprised that he would be there. I thought if you're picking a polo team, you'd want a big, strong, muscular guy to hit the ball as far as possible with the polo stick. Why Tony Atlas wasn't the first guy. Hacksaw Jim Duggan sort of reveals his plan is that he really likes it. He's rooming with Roddy Piper. He's trying to resolve all the heat they've had, try to become best friends. He thinks that him and Piper are 2 guys that can really move on from Legends House, and Hillbilly Jim can have a real, sort of relationship with. And that's basically what Hacksaw is looking for with the time he's spending at Legends House. He's trying to become good friends with Roddy Piper. They're going around the house, their buddy-buddy situation. Basically, everyone's still a little bit on eggshells. They had a conversation between Tony Atlas, and the rest of the group at lunch in episode 1, where basically he was trying to talk about the work he does with underprivileged kids, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan kept on wanting to talk about how you should be working on your problems with your kids at home. That's what he does with his daughters before he goes out and he tries to help anybody else. And basically, Tony Atlas felt like, everybody was, just not really caring about what he was to say. By looking at Tony Atlas, everyone in the house sort of has, issues with Tony. He just talks too much about nothing. And it's almost like he just wants to hear himself speak, because basically he starts out, people say he starts out with good stories. And by the time he's done with the story, you don't even know what the hell he was talking about anymore. He just, basically, you see him cooking breakfast in the kitchen with Jimmy Hart, and he's talking about, basically, the conversation starts with basically, I think he's talking about dirt sheets, because he's talking about Ric Flair having an argument with somebody, and it ends up on the internet. And he's not blaming the people who write the dirt sheets. He's blaming the people who invented the internet. And basically, you can tell that this is at least a 15 to 20 minute conversation cut down into 1 minute. And it even aggravates you at this point to figure out what the fuck he's talking about. Basically, the blue team wins. It's the team made up of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Roddy Piper, Pat Patterson, and I think the Fink was on that team too. It's funny how these teams are dividing out on this show, and you can tell the people that are gonna matter. Basically, Roddy Piper is the star of this show. You can tell by far that Mean Gene Okerlund is a funny guy to have on the show because he just doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care what's going on. He's gonna, let you know it's something funny about, some screw job going down. Let me see. Jimmy Hart is sort of the kind of guy who just, peacemaker. Pat Patterson let us all know on this show that he just doesn't give a fuck. He's just there basically to collect the paycheck. Basically, I bet Vince McMahon came to him and said, hey, I need you. He went and did it as a favor to Vince McMahon. And that was basically it. He doesn't give a shit what else is going down. Tony Atlas is the one guy that's going to start all the fights on this show. He's like the bad guy of the real world. He doesn't mean to, but he just gets on everybody's nerves. I haven't really figured out Hillbilly Jim at all. But from here, they go to Zumba class. Basically, Ashley brings her to the class. All the girls are all dancing around. Roddy Piper it's the funniest thing I've seen on this show by far. Basically, the guys all walk into the room and they're trying to explain what Zumba is. Ashley starts moving her hips, starts shaking around, and Piper just has a look on his face that if he was 20 years younger, he would be tearing that up. Basically, they do their best. They showed a little bit with Howard Finkel. He put on a lot of weight since the last time we saw him do anything, in the limelight. He looked a lot bigger than the last time we saw him on the public stage at Survivor Series at Madison Square Garden, where he came out to announce CM Punk before his match with Alberto Del Rio, where he started the streak. He looked a lot bigger than that. But, basically he's trying to walk 25 laps around the tennis courts every day. And he was in the Zumba class. He was moving around. He was blown up big time, but he was the one guy that really got the most out of that class. So will he ever do it again? I think the best thing was, not Howard Finkel, it was Roddy Piper. At the end, the teacher, the instructor asked her if he was ever coming back to the class, and she said, hell no. Pat Patterson, basically, if Pat Patterson, Mean Gene Okerlund, if they would have found a way to get, some screwdrivers into there, they would have been drinking in the corner. They didn't care. They just were sitting down. Pat Patterson said, I'm 74 years old. I know I'm out of shape. I ain't doing this shit. Hacksaw did a lot. Tony Atlas said that Hacksaw got his respect because he was the one guy out there really trying to learn and really trying to get something out of the class. From there, after Zumba class, they go home. Everybody's hungry. Pat Patterson tries to take over the kitchen again. I think everybody remembers from episode 1 his famous stuffed cabbage rolls that never came to be because they took too long. Basically, he decided he was going to cook some steaks. He was going to cook some hamburgers. The only problem was that whoever went to the store and whoever did the shopping bought a whole bunch of filet mignons. These were thick-ass fillets, probably at least 1.25 inches. If they were frozen solid, you're looking, just sitting out on the counter, you're looking at least more than a couple hours. You take these out in the morning when you go to work and come home, and then you're able to cook them. Without putting them in the microwave, putting them on defrost, which is really going to fuck your meat up. Don't ever do that. Maybe you can get away with doing that with chicken. Don't ever put your meat, any kind of steak that you want to be tender, in the microwave to defrost. It never works. Basically, you're heating it up. You're starting to cook your meat just to get it defrost before you're going to, you're just putting too much heat on it. Bad idea. Horrible. Never do it with the filet mignon. Basically, they get bored. They go out. They just start to play cards. Basically, the people in the house really see that Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Roddy Piper, they're all pissed off. They're trying to find a place that's going to deliver to them. They go outside. They find a way to almost do a screw job. They almost call for a taxi to take them to a steakhouse so they can go get something because they want some Kobe beef. They come back into the house to find out that Jimmy Hart, Howard Finkel, I think I'm giving Jimmy Hart credit for something he didn't do, but I know it was Howard Finkel, Tony Atlas, and Hillbilly Jim had taken over the grill. They started making chicken breasts. They started making hamburgers, and they saved the night. If anybody's going to be pissed at Mean Gene and Pat Patterson, it's going to be tomorrow because everybody in this house got a big dinner tonight. They were able to eat. You were able to see 3 guys basically squash the house and basically made sure there was going to be no fighting. Roddy Piper is still acting really weird. He honestly looks really fucking drunk all the time, but maybe that's just Piper being Piper because of the past that he had. Maybe it's almost like he doesn't even need to get drunk, need a drink to get drunk, but I don't know. This is a fun show. It'd be a lot better if they were able to edit this down to a half an hour. But even at an hour, I laughed a whole lot. My wife had to come yell at me and tell me to quit laughing. So I enjoyed Legends House. The Cart Before the Horse was a good episode. Make sure you check this out. Make sure you come back on next Thursday and we watch episode 3. Peace out.